Hello and welcome back to Storyphile, where we discuss stories in all different mediums, including books, movies, TV shows, and occasionally even video games. So today I'm going to be doing the Unpopular Opinions book tag, which I last saw by Murphy Napier. And so here we go. Let's get started on some unpopular opinions. Question 1, a popular book or series that you don't like. So I'm going to give 2 for this one book and 1 movie. Some of my answers are movies or shows, most of them are books. But for this first one, I have 2. I think one's a very unpopular opinion. So we'll start with the least unpopular. A movie I don't like, What Dreams May Come, starring Robin Williams. Robin Williams is one of my favorite actors. I've loved almost everything he's been in, and this movie was recommended to me by a former student. And man, I just don't like it. I can't even describe why I don't like it. I just hated that movie so much. Probably the only thing I liked was the depiction of heaven. I thought was really unique. The art style was very interesting. But once we got out of heaven and went to the other place, just did not do it for me. So if you like the movie, that's totally fine. You can like what you want to like, but that movie, not do it for me. I need to get rid of my copy and give it to someone else who will actually enjoy it. As far as books, as I said in my favorites video, my favorite author is Neil Gaiman. I've loved everything he has written, with the exception of American Gods. And yes, I know that's an unpopular opinion. I'm willing to read the book again because I understand it's considered one of his best. And I do appreciate a lot of the things he was trying to do in it. There were a lot of really interesting things I liked about the story. I loved a lot of the characters. I loved the main character. He was wonderful. But, oh man, I just did not like the plot of this book. It was way longer than it needed to be. But again, I'm willing to give it another try because I have loved every single other Neil Gaiman book I've read. But, I don't like American Gods. Alright, question number 2. Let me scroll down. Question number 2, a book or series that many people don't like but you love. I don't know that I have a lot to say here because I like a lot of popular things. But I'm going to go with a book in the Dresden Files. So, I've been reading the Dresden Files. I've read the first 3 books. And I really liked the second book. I really liked all 3 of them, but the second book, to my understanding of being new to the fandom, is not considered as good and has a lot of negative reviews. But I really liked the second book. I thought it was fine. I think I gave it 4 stars and I gave the first book 5. So I really liked the second one. And I'm not really a werewolf person, but I really liked reading about werewolves. So that was really unique how the author brought in all the different kinds of werewolves and how you become each kind of werewolf. And I just thought that was really cool. So I liked book 2 of the Dresden Files, Full Moon. Alright, question number 3. A love triangle where the main character ended up with the person you didn't want them to end up with, or an OTP that you don't like. Oh, I didn't see the OTP part till now. I don't have any problems with OTPs, but I have a lot of controversial, Rick Riordan, Percy Jackson opinions, so future video coming on that. I've been teaching Rick Riordan fanfiction classes for a while, and so these come up a lot, but we'll go with one for now, and that is Jason and Reyna. I am a Jason and Reyna shipper. I know that's not in-game, and that goes nowhere, but I love them. Piper is, my least favorite character, so I don't like Jason either, but I do like him with Reyna, so I don't even know if that counts as a love triangle, but I definitely liked their chemistry a lot better than Jason and Piper. So there you go. There's some controversy. All right, question 4. A popular genre that you hardly reach for. Science fiction. I don't read science fiction. I hate saying that because all genres have great things and not so great things, and there's amazing epic books in every single genre, but I have read 1 science fiction book I've liked, and that is Ender's Game. I really liked Ender's Game, and I am hoping to read Speaker for the Dead at some point in the future when I feel like it, but 0 other ones. I don't watch sci-fi. I don't read sci-fi. I have nothing against the genre. It's incredible. It's very creative. Lots of really highly acclaimed works within the sci-fi genre. It's just not my thing. Question number 5. A popular or beloved character that you don't like. So this one was a hard question for me. I'm gonna go with a TV show character, and that is Daisy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And let's just get this straight. I don't not like her. She's just my least favorite member of the team. Minus Grant Ward, he sucks. But I love all of the other characters so much in that show. She's my least favorite. But I don't hate her, and I don't not like her. I still think she's fine. I still want her to live and not die and be how those horrible things happen to her, like happened in the show. But she's a very, very popular character that's a lot of people's favorite, who is not my favorite. My favorites, we can get into later, my favorites are Enoch, Fitz, and May. Of course, Coulson. Coulson's everybody's favorite, but I don't love her, but she's fine. So I feel like that's the closest I can get to not liking that we're gonna get. All right, question 6. An author that you can't seem to get into. That's another controversial one. Coming up, I already know, and that's Tolkien. J.R.R. Tolkien, author of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion. He's one of my husband's favorite authors, and you might be able to see him. We have a whole bunch of Tolkien books right here. But I just can't. I have a hard time with older writing styles to begin with. It's something I know a struggle with that I've been constantly trying to work on. And I love the Lord of the Rings movies. They're probably my top 5 movies. The all 3 of them together, as pretend they're all one movie. Top 5 movies. But I just have such a hard time with the writing style. It's not even that hard. It's just so long. It's just so different in the past kinds of things that you would write as opposed to more modern styles. There's a lot more explicit world building and descriptions. Lots of times it's more slowly paced, and that's just harder for me to get into. I'm not ruling it out forever, but it took me 3 years to read Fellowship of the Ring. It's the longest I've taken to read anything. So I want to love Tolkien. I do. I think he's a great storyteller, but it's just hard. All right, question number 7. A popular book trope you're tired of seeing. Okay, so August I read a whole bunch of romance novels, given they were all YA romance, so they were teenagers, but still there's a couple romance tropes that I just do not like. One of them is enemies to lovers. I realize that's one of the most popular romance tropes, characters start as enemies and eventually fall in love, but there's been very few times where I've seen that and I've actually liked how it's been done. In my opinion, in several of the books that I read that had this trope, the characters were very abrasive and hateful toward each other for most of the story, and then at the very end they became lovers, and I just did not jam with that. I did not see that as romantic. It kind of goes in line with the romanticized abuse, which I will never understand either in stories or in real life. It just does not, no, if you love somebody, you treat them with respect. And respect their dignity, but in books it feels like that's all out the window sometimes. You can just be a jerk to people that you like and that works out for you. I just don't like that. If you do, you read what you're gonna read, but that's just not something I enjoy. I much prefer friends to lovers, people who do have a trusting, healthy relationship to begin with, and then it progresses into something more. That is awesome for me. I will never get tired of that. But enemies to lovers just does not jive with me. Another thing in the romance genre, again, is love triangles. That's not an unpopular opinion, but I hate love triangles. They're one of my least favorite things to ever see. They just need to stop. Especially, I don't remember who said this, but somebody said that love triangles was a misnomer. You don't normally have person A in love with person B, who's in love with person C, and C's in love with person A. You don't normally have that. You have 2 people both in love with the same person. And so, I don't remember who said this, but they call it a love corner. You have 2 people backing them into a corner. That's way more accurate and terrible. Stop writing it, please. All right, question number 8. A popular book or series you have no interest in reading. This is going to be a controversial one. I have no interest in reading A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin / watching Game of Thrones. So I don't know a whole lot about this series. I understand it's a really solid story with some really great stuff, but I don't do things that have a lot of sex in them. I don't know if the books are the same, but I know the show is like that. I just do not enjoy that at all. So that has completely turn off any kind of interest I have in reading or watching them. So sorry, Martin, I will be reading and watching other things. Question 9. The saying goes that the book is always better than the movie, but what movie or TV show adaptation is better than the book? This is, I don't think, an unpopular opinion, but I love the movie Howl's Moving Castle. I have read the book too, and the book is great, but I like the movie better. I think the movie is a lot better than the book. Alright, so there are my unpopular opinions. I'll leave the questions in the description if you feel like playing along. I'd love to hear some of your unpopular opinions, or to hear you tell me why I'm wrong down in the comments below. As always, if you have any recommendations, comments, or suggestions, please feel free to leave them as well, and I will see you next time. Bye.